Look at that Campbell 01. That's your fault. Coffee black, no sugar.
Just snap away, don't worry about it.
Basically, my body has lost its tolerance for lactose, apparently. It's a codger thing. Anyway, here's a clue as to who I'm going to see. Can you see who it is yet? So I'm at JNS, which is in Northwich, and the statue's about 25-30 miles away, I think. So I'll have my coffee and then see if I can get anywhere near it.
Morning, Codge Biker here, and I'm having one of my mini adventure days. I'm going to see a famous statue. Now, you may have seen him from the thumbnail, but if not, I'll give you a few clues. His music was overkill, pretty much, and that's what he was famous for. So you should have got that by now. But anyway, if you haven't, ride along with me. I'm going to do something I don't normally do, first of all, which is a dad ADV thing. I'm going to go and get a cup of coffee. Don't know why I'm talking like that. Now, I think it was a bloke off Pointless, whose name I can't remember, who pointed out that there are now no bands in the charts. Now, you might not think that the charts matter. I've never really followed the charts since I was about, in my teens, early teens, because I discovered punk rock in the late 70s, and of course that never got into the charts apart for a brief period at the end of the 70s. So we had disdain then for the charts, obviously. However, what he pointed out was that in the 70s there were 150 bands at number one over 5 years, and in the 80s and the 90s about the same. But in the last 5 years of the 2020s there have been 3. So it's gone from 150 down to 3, and one of them was the Beatles, another one was a Radio BBC One collaboration, and I think there was just one new band. And I don't think any of those bands were formed within the last 10 years. So basically, at least as far as commercial music is concerned, bands are dead. And again, you may not care about that, but the one thing I've always been proud of my country is our rock music. We've punched well above our weight, given the size of the island, and I think it came out of poverty and hardship, and it was a way out of that. So bands like Black Sabbath, Iron Maiden, Sex Pistols, although you could argue they were manufactured, the Ramones in America, all the bands that mean a lot to me did it live and did it real. Now, I'm not a performer. I can write songs, but I'm not very good at performing. It's just never interested me. I like the creative side of it, so I'm a bit of a hypocrite on this one. But I do think if a band doesn't write its own songs, doesn't perform them live without auto-tune, or a lot of miming now apparently, I don't know, I don't get into the controversy of it. Rick Beato's the man for that. So, and they all tend to be older bands anyway. There don't seem to be any new bands that I can think of that have come through. I asked my son this morning, who's obviously younger than me. He's going to see what I call Kendrick Lamar later this month. Not a band. They're just not interested in bands particularly, and I don't blame them. They don't see any, they're not exposed to them. Both my lads got guitars at the age of 4, and I've played rock music at them non-stop. So they still do listen to it. He says he was listening to Radiohead last night, but again, you know, that's a band from the last century, and it's a band I'd listen to. There's no separation. So anyway, the band the statue of the band I'm going to see today, of the main man, was definitely self-made and a phenomenon. Wrote their own songs, played their own music, played live until almost his last breath. And I'm ashamed to say it's one of the few bands that I love that I never saw. And I think that was because I took it for granted. He was around before I was into rock music, and he was around well after, and as I say, performing all the way through. I kind of thought I'll get round to seeing it one day. Alas, now I never will, because this guy is the only permanent member of this particular band and is synonymous with it. Anyhow, I'm going to get a coffee. I'm going to ponder some more about the changes to history, the changes to technology, and my sadness anyway at the loss of British rock and roll of all kinds. Punk rock, soft rock, glam rock, you name it. We had it all, and now we've got Ed Sheeran. It's a funny thing about statues. You often wonder, or I often wonder, how long they actually stay relevant. There used to be a statue in a place called Spilsby when I was a little boy. Every Monday we used to go to the market there. And it was real old fashioned. They'd sell you live geese and kill them in front of you because you weren't allowed to take a live one away. It was the 70s, it was brutal. But in the marketplace there was a statue of some old guy. Bear in mind, I'm probably an 11-year-old kid looking at this thing. Some old guy dressed in fancy dress, but he's got some interesting gadgets around him, a telescope, I think, probably what I didn't know at the time, but probably a sextant, all the sailing stuff. And I think that guy was Sir John Franklin, who was a famous explorer of his day. Just going to explore around the outside of these. So obviously that statue is put up in his memory, and there's possibly people around now who, for whatever reason, want to take it down. I'm guessing most people treat it with basic ignorance, as I did as a kid. I now of course know that he was looking for the Northwest Passage, which you'd find today due to global warming probably, and his whole crew and himself I think all died out there in the ice, so the statue went up, and he's one of Spilsby's most famous sons. And you've probably never heard of Spilsby, and that's not surprising. So the statue I'm going to see today is at the moment relevant, but you've got to wonder, given that nobody listens to rock music anymore, whether it will be relevant 200 years from now. I guess time changes everything, and you have to accept that. I call this channel Codger Biker for a laugh when I first started it, not ever realising that I would grow into being a codger. So in a way, I've time-proofed it. So I think the demise of rock music is just due to technology. Everybody listens to music on the phones. They don't give it a chance. They don't necessarily listen to a whole album. They get influenced by other people. When I was a kid, if you bought a record, you had to listen to it over and over again, usually on your own, because it was a big investment. The first week's wages, I bought the Clash's first album, and I don't know if it was Nuclear Days by the Vapors, not sure if it was that one, but it was 2 albums down my leather jacket, riding my motorbike back from work, hit a car and was nearly decapitated by the 2 vinyl records. Wrote the bike off. But I've still got those records, and I did listen to them over and over again, and every time I listen to them now I remember that day. And also, if you don't listen to music in that way, for instance, I bought London Calling by The Clash off my friend because he didn't like it, and me and my friend Sean, who were big Clash fans, bought it, couldn't wait to get back and listen to it. We listened to it, we skipped over the tracks, and we weren't impressed because it was not what we were expecting. It wasn't a punk rock album in the way that we were expecting it to be. It was in another way, in that it was diverse and they were trying different things, which is kind of punk ethos. But gradually, listening to it over and over again, it's become one of my favourite records of all time, and the intro to London Calling takes me back to the first time I saw the Clash at the Lyceum in 1981 as an 18-year-old boy, when I was literally moved. And London Calling started up, the crowd lifted me off my feet, we were squashed in like sardines, and I floated to the other side of the theatre, at least that's what it felt like. And I've never forgotten it. It's still the greatest gig I think I've ever attended. If I'm not wrong, if it wasn't that night, one of the nights the Meteors played, they were just a phenomenon you could never capture on Spotify. It was unbelievable. So I became a Meteors fan that night as well. But it was live music, played live, no auto-tune, no technology whatsoever apart from big amps, a dirty stage and a big crowd, and it was fantastic. And the last time I went to see a band was I saw Mick Jones with The Farm in a small theatre, and it was fantastic. And he played Stay Free, which is one of the Clash songs, and I don't think I've been to a gig since. I kind of felt like that was a good bookend. I probably will go to another one, but there was something about that night. Romantic, I guess. Alright. Right. Right, well, leaving Jonas, and I make my way to a hotel car park, hasten to add, so that I avoid the motorway. Don't want to go on the M6 today particularly. I might do on the way back, but not going there. So stage 2 of my little mini adventure. Talking to a young lad there, he's on a Senis 125, and he'd been knocked off a couple of days ago. Showed me the damage to it. It's his second bike, he's got a CB 500 as well. And, it took me back to me crashing one of my first motorbikes with my vinyl records down my leather jacket. Anyhow, and that is the headquarters of the Cheshire Cats, which is a Ducati owners club, which I think I may be a member of. And you may go, what do you mean you think you may be a member of? I think I joined it when I joined Ducati UK, but I may not have, I'm not sure. So yeah, the problem with music, I think, it's only a problem for my generation. I'm sure the younger people just think I'm talking nonsense, is basically technology. Record companies, whatever they're called now, recording companies, production companies, whatever they are, they don't want bands anymore. They can get all the music produced artificially. They've got songwriters who write all the songs and give away their credits to performers. The performers generally just a single young person prancing about in their underpants. From a codger perspective. And I think as Rick Beato said, you pay $10 a month to listen to all the music there's ever been, so it's valueless. And I think it's already started, but very soon Spotify or similar, YouTube's music, whoever, no doubt they are going to start using AI to produce music direct so they can keep all the money. And that's just plagiarising all of human music for the past however many thousands of years. The only hope as I see it is that one day the AIs will go, hang on a minute, that's our music, and sue the record companies and take them down. Won't help with human music though, will it? But I digress. Getting in a band when I was a kid was a rite of passage. Everybody did it. I don't think it's very common now, because there just doesn't seem to be much point to it. It was a dream of becoming famous. I suppose now it's football. It was football then, but I think football more so now. That's gone worldwide. And all the bands I love, like Iron Maiden, whatever, well, they're all old. And rock music used to be the music of youth. Hope I die before I get old and all that. There was some hope in that I wanted to, like many people, to go and see Oasis at Heaton Park, is it? Manchester. Sat in a queue for hours, we didn't get any tickets, so that's out the window, but at least people want to go and see that. Whether that's young people or not, I don't know. And again, you know, it's a band formed in the last century. What we call now? Legacy. Legacy music. Fantastic. Codger Biker and legacy music. What happens to that young punk rock kid with so much hope in his heart? Didn't have that much hope actually, because the Sex Pistols kept saying no future, which given I lived near all the American Air Force bases and they were constantly on alert for nuclear war, kind of fueled the negativity of music then, but also the raw energy of it. Discharge, GBH, Crass, all those bands, all of whom I saw. But the band I'm going to see today, or the statue of the main man from the band I'm going to see today, I never saw. Got their albums, love their songs. My favourite song by them, most people it's Ace of Spades, I would imagine, or Motorhead. You know who it is now, don't you? Mine's always going to be Overkill, and the reason for that is my friend Rob Gurney, who used to ride around wearing a German helmet to wind people up on his motorbike. A bit like Lemmy himself. It was all wind-up stuff. It wasn't. Both of them are gentle left-wingers. I don't think Lemmy ever rode a motorbike actually in his life properly, apart from in the video Killed by Death. But my friend Rob had put Overkill on the jukebox at the local social club where we all used to meet up when we were young. So I'd ride in on my motorbike, get off, and I'd hear that drum. Those drums through the window. He put it on repeatedly. It was his own record which he paid for and put on there and then paid to play endlessly. And that is how I got to love Motorhead really. Before that I wasn't sure about them. I'd seen Chris Tarrant on Tiswas with a Motorhead t-shirt and Motorhead had appeared on it, but I didn't get it at the time. I absolutely love them now and have done for maybe 45 years. So I never saw the band, but I can go on a little pilgrimage and see the statue, I guess. I think the thing about rock bands is they were full of characters with big personalities, or you didn't make it. A lot of talent, or you didn't make it. A lot of ego, a lot of illicit substances, and a very decadent lifestyle. It's all very exciting. You make them heroes when you're young, but the record companies, they want things they can control and squeeze the maximum amount of money out of. So yeah, Ned Sheeran's, whatever he's called, about as controversial as John Major, who ran away from the circus to join a bank, allegedly. But I lived through those days. You'll probably never see the like again, in the same way as Sir John Franklin sailed or tried to sail the Northwest Passage. Nobody's going to do that now. We've got the entire map of the world down to a metre or whatever by Google Maps and satellites. And I guess 50 years from now that statue of Lemmy is going to be a who was that? So statues go out of date. I want to see it before I get banned from going there. I don't know how close to it I'm going to be able to get. I will try. I wonder how Lemmy would have reacted to the idea of having a statue in his hometown. Don't know how long he lived there, but they've put one up anyway. I like to think he would have been moved by it. For all the image, I think he was a nice guy. But he lived in a universe of possibly infinite temptation. I don't know how any of us would react with that. The fact he got to 70, or whatever it was testament to his endurance. Things are speeding up. Speed cameras there, you've got to watch it. What a beautiful day. Getting a little bit angry over where we're going. Is that fitting? Angry sky. Angry music, even though it's tongue-in-cheek anger, I think. Mention the place yet? Oh yeah, there we go. Purslem, half a mile. The city of Stoke-on-Trent. Don't think I've ever been here before. Famous for pottery, isn't it? Bursum's also famous, I believe, Port Vale Football Club, and another, I was going to say, produced music star. I think Robbie Williams was from here. Wasn't he a director of Port Vale as well? Something like that, can't remember. Although, to give Robbie his due, he can perform live. Not my kind of music, but he can definitely do it. He's got a bit of rock star character about him. I thought there's a potteries kiln. Ooh, interesting. Right, concentrate on the road, second exit. So I've no idea how long Lemmy lived here. I know he went to Wales and lived in a castle and ended his days in Los Angeles. I think he lived most of his life there once he'd made it rock star wise, as you do. This apparently is where he's from. Oh, there's the town hall. I think it's near that. See, there's a statue, but that's not him. Don't know who that is, but I'm not having a pilgrimage to that particular statue. What if I get arrested? I would like to get a bike close to it if I can. There he is.
I don't know, I think it's just bird muck, isn't it? He's got his bullet belt on.
I should be tired, and all I am is wired. Ain't felt this good for an hour. Motorhead. Remember me now, Motorhead. Alright. Levy.
If you like to gamble, I tell you I'm your man. You win some, lose some, it's all the same to me. Pleasure is to play, makes no difference what you say. I don't share your greed.